Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our live stream today. Sorry for not having question time this Wednesday and last weekend. Long story short, lots of personal stuff going on, and it kind of got to me a little bit. But hopefully we're back and we're ready to go. But this is the last episode of our retro remake of the Pokemon series. So if you don't know what this is basically every year we pick a game from our past and we remake it inside Unreal Engine 5. This year was Pokemon. And so far we've done quite a lot, and we'll just see how far we get throughout the year. And this actually works out to be the last one of the year. So if you haven't watched any of this series, if you're watching this live and you haven't watched any of the series before and you want to learn your own, make your own sort of like catch 'em all sort of RPG turn-based battle type thing, there's lots of little things you can pick up during this series and help you learn various things, as we've been doing it live and just figuring things out live too. So I'm just waiting for it to load up, and then we'll go through and show you where we're at, and then we can kind of go through and see what we can do in our last session here. Meanwhile, if you're a Patreon member, if you head over to Patreon right now, you can find a post that I've made where you can start commenting about what game you'd like to see for 2024. Also, if you want to put right now, if those are in live chat right now, can put in the chat what game would you like to see from our past remade for 2024. Then during December, there'll be a poll for patrons to vote for their chosen game. So look forward to that one. But we've had a load of suggestions already. Some are really good. I'm really interested to see what kind of things people come up with going forward. But yeah, let us know what kind of game do you think we should try and do for 2024. I'm very interested to do. Ideally something that's like 20 years old or more, like ish. We're not trying to do anything modern or anything big. There's a few stipulations that we're going to try and pick something that I think we can do within a time frame, which is about 10 hours or 10 to 12 hours. And would have like the core mechanics done in those 10 to 12 hours. Not the full game, obviously, but 10 to 12 hours where the core mechanics done. So yeah, whatever your suggestions are, throw them in the chat and we'll see what people think of. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're in the game now. Let's jump over. Cool. Right, so if you have not seen this yet, we've been making our own little Pokemon game over the past year. And we've got something like this. So we've got an environment. Let me go full screen. We've got an environment that we made and put together. We've got Pokemon roaming the environment live. So they're in there somewhere. There you go. It's one over there. And we can bump into them. It'll start a battle, for example. And I can start a battle. And they'll do an attack. Do an electric bolt attack. He's attacking me. Like this. And I'll capture him with a Pokeball as well. Throw the ball out. And I've captured him. Sweet. And then we also made a Pokemon Center. So we can go into our Pokemon Center, which is over here. And go to the Pokemon Center. The shaders had to recompile, so we might have to little load here. Yep, there you go. And we've got this Pokemon Center over here. So we've got this section kind of going on, but we haven't got anything to like actually. I forgot how we show the party. Is it one? Yeah. We haven't actually got anything to like keep track of and store and heal the Pokemon. So we can do that today. We can try and get that in there and get actual interactions working on in the Pokemon Center. And then when we leave the Pokemon Center, we come back where we left. Like that. So I think some sort of interaction system with the people in the game, some sort of basic dialogue system. We're not going to do a full-fledged dialogue system because we ain't got time really, but we're definitely we can try and do something so that we can talk to people. We'll get some information from them, and yeah, go from there. So let's do that. I think that'd be a good one to try and do. So let's go for an interaction system. So what I'm actually going to do to speed things up, rather than starting in this map, I'm going to start off in a Pokemon Center map. If I can remember where I put it, Pokemon Center, and go to Pokemon Center. There you go. Cool. when will the next QA stream be? Hopefully Wednesday. Yeah, I would say, as I said at the top of the stream, apologies for everything going on. Lots of personal stuff. Mental health just went down the drain. So we had to deal with all that. But yeah. I haven't loaded up an actual one I want to use. This one, people in it. Yeah, you'll do. Okay. Okay, so we got a guy. We need to talk to the guy. So with Pokemon, we're going to do something a little bit different than what we've done before in other series. Trying to keep hold of that sort of grid-based talking to people and interacting with people methodology going on there. So what I'm going to do is actually put a little interaction area in front of the enemy or NPC, so that we have to be inside that area to actually talk to them. So we can't talk with them from behind or something like that. Maybe, or maybe we could. I still think interaction area is going to be the call for this one. So we'll do a box collision. You can do sphere as well. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. We're just going to change the size of it over here. We'll do 100. Ooh. Like that do. We'll just do 50. There you go. Yeah, we'll do something like that. So yeah, we're going to do this. So, thanks to Mega Killer. Welcome for the first stream. Yeah, there you've got interesting one going on here. Okay, so this would be our interaction box, or yeah, we just call it interaction box. The reason why I'm making it a box, by the way, is so that when we have an NPC that's like out of bounds, technically, I can go to this NPC in particular on this map, choose their interaction box, and just move it. So when my player is standing in front of them, even in front of this desk, I can still talk to them. Okay, so I can separate it out from the rest of this actor. Okay, which would make stuff like this really easy to do. So it's something that you don't see many people mess about with too much, is the details box and how you can mess about with the individual components. Just select the box and you can move it around wherever you want. You can resize it, do whatever you like, really. Yeah. So let's set up a little dialogue system. So I'm going to go and create a new folder for this. And we'll call it dialogue system. And we're going to keep it very, very, very basic. So we don't have much time today, so we can't go do a whole, like, you know, Baldur's Gate style RPG conversation system. But what we can do is do a very simple dialogue tree system. So we're going to go to make a blueprint class, and we'll call this one the dialogue actor. Oh, whoops. BP dialogue actor. Okie dokie. And in here we are going to keep track of and store the different lines of dialogue that they may have. Okay, so we're going to go first of all into creating a struct. And if I remember rightly, in Pokemon, your character doesn't talk; it's just them. All right, is that what happens? Can't remember. Yeah, we'll try. Okay, so F for struct and do dialogue. And the basic of a dialogue system is you need some sort of like an array. So you like what lines you're going to be showing in what order. And obviously there are plugins and all sorts of things that can help you with this, but essentially that's what it boils down to, is you can have an array of text values. So we're going to do dialogue lines like this, and that'd be an array. Actually, I've got a cunning plan. It's great. We'll go through this. Like I say, there's tons and tons and tons of ways of doing this, so we'll keep it simple for now. Dialogue lines, we'll keep that, because I'm thinking about if you have two NPCs talking to you, how they interact with each other. and talk next to each other. But I'm gonna keep it simple. Screw it. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Dialogue lines. What else can we do on here? Speaker, I guess. I don't know. Who's saying the lines? I'll leave it. Okay. And then on my dialogue actor, do I want to do it this way? I'm trying to think now. Do I want to do it this way or another way? I'm gonna do it a slightly different way, I think. I'm gonna make a component. Dialogue component. And what I'm going to do is on my NPC for the interaction box, I'm going to set up an event dispatcher for when that happens. So on interacted with, and that will be called when we interact with the interaction box. But for now, that'll do. So let's go back to my dialogue component, and in here on begin play, I'm going to get a reference to who we're attached to. So get owner. That'll get you the owner of the component, and then you want to get cast that to our NPC. Like that. And I'm going to get the I'll just bind event to on the interacted with. Here we are. And custom event, and we'll call that one start dialogue. Okie dokie. So, what I want to do in here is, should I do the array on here? Or my idea of using a struct is because then we can switch to different conversations. I'm gonna do it as a struct because then we can do different conversations. Blueprint structure, sorry. F dialogue, and we'll just make that lines, and we'll say text array, and that's all I'm gonna put in there. So my dialogue component, we're gonna have on the variables, we'll have dialogue, dialogues, multiple, and it'll choose the struct for dialogue. But this would be an array. So the idea is that a dialogue 0 would be the first conversation you could have with them. Dialogue 1 could be a conditional one. So if you've got a certain item, for example, maybe they can say something different. I don't know. We're making up as we go along. Okay, so with the dialogues, we're going to start dialogue. And we're going to have in here current conversation as a integer. The reason why we need this is because we're using an array for dialogues. We need to know which one of these we're using. Now, I can't pass through and start dialogue an array, sorry, an integer, because we're binding to a generic on interacted with function, which is more than likely what we would have in the full game. So in this case, we need the dialogue component to keep track of which current conversation we're in. And it may be a case that it auto skips on to the next conversation when you talk to them. I don't know. But start dialogue, we're going to there. And we'll go dialogues, and we'll do get a copy the current conversation, and then I'm going to make a function called display dialogue. Okay, and we're going to do display dialogue, but I want to pass through the conversation we're using display dialogue. So display dialogue of the dialogue struct. Conversation. Hi, hi. Good to see you. Okay, that's our conversation. Next, we need to make some UI bits to this thing. So let's create a widget, and we'll do dialogue. And in here, we're going to have a canvas panel. And in here, we're going to have a border. And we'll put it anchored to the bottom. If I hold down Shift and Control, you can move it and align it for you. And then I can use size here to set it how I want it to be. So do 1,000, 300, 200. Let's do it 800 as well. And just raise up a little bit. Minus 200, 100. Yep, there you go. We'll change the color of it. So brush color will change to this sort of thing. And okay, I'm going to change it from image to a rounded box, so I get that sort of nice rounded look. And we can even go ahead and tweak the rounded edges somewhere. Corner radii. Oh, that's outline. Rounded box. I swear there was a thing. No. Whatever. Okay, so that'll do there. We'll get some text. Chuck that in there. And we'll change the color of it. And add padding to this whole thing. Like that. And we'll change the size out a little bit down to 18. Perfect. And then we go down to auto rep text. File. Save. Key. That'll do for now. Save and go to graph editor. And the variables this will need is going to be the dialog line. And that'll be a text. I've just realized something. That's fine. We'll keep going on here for a second. We'll text that. Text. Dialog. And graph. You can now drag that out and set text. Oh, wrong one. Set text. Thank you, Cyber. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, let's put that dialogue line in there. Cool. Right, so the issue I've foreseen is on our dialogue component. I need to keep track of which line I'm in. I can't do that with the function. Well, I could, but I can. I'm gonna make a variable. I'll fix it. So current line we need to keep track of. So display dialogue. We're gonna get the conversation. I'm gonna break that open to get the lines, and I'm gonna do get a copy of the current line. On display dialogue, then I'm going to create widget, and we are going to get the dialogue widget. Oh, I forgot to make it editable. Exposed. Tick exposed. So then on my dialogue component, when I refresh this, we get a dialogue line, and we'll plug that in there. So we do that, and then I'm going to promote that to a variable. Current widget, we'll call it. And we add that to viewport. Okay, now I've done this, I'm actually going to go backwards. And I'm going to go back to the start here and do a validation check for the current widget. So you just convert the validated get, plug that in. If it's not valid, plug that into the create widget. If it is valid, we want to remove it from parent. So just drag from the blue pin, remove from parent, and then plug the end of that back into here. So if it does exist, it's going to destroy the old one and replace it with a new one. Essentially, that's what's going to happen. So, that go off into there, add to viewport, blah, blah, blah. Right, so once we've done that, we need to know when the dialogue widget has been finished or closed, okay? So if I click a button I want it to progress onto the next line. So I'm going to go back to my dialogue widget here. And I'm going to go to my inputs. Actions. And we'll make an input action. IA interact. Now, the beauty of the interaction system in the enhanced input action system is that these things work in the UI now, which is really, really cool. So I've set that to E. Well, I've got videos coming out very soon, especially very soon for patrons, of how to actually use all of this system, so you understand it a bit better. But on my dialogue here, I can go to interact, and that would work on here. And what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to say event dispatcher on next, we'll call it, for example. And we'll just call that when this has been triggered. Okay. Compile that, save that. Go back to the dialog component, and then from the current widget, I can do a binding to the on next event. So when on next gets called, I'm going to drag that down in here, and we're going to create event, and we're going to create a matching function. It is. And this one is going to be next line. So on next line, we're going to drag out our dialogues, get the current conversation. Then from here, we're going to break it open, get the lines. And then from that, I'm going to get the current line. No, not get current line, sorry. I'm going to move that along a little bit and get the current line out and increment it by 1. And then plug it into here. Actually, before I do that, I want to make sure it's valid. Is valid. Plugging that into here, that's that. And we're going to go into the condition like so. And if it is valid, that means I can go to the next line successfully. So when I get this, I just plug in current line. Oh, actually, no, I don't need to do that even. I can just go display dialogue. And the conversation will be done. So it'll just go back to display dialogue and get the current line again, because it's now incremented by 1. So it just goes into a loop, basically. Yeah. So after that, what if it's not valid? So if we've reached the end of our line of questioning or just discussion, we just want to close the dialogue system. So on the false here, we're going to take the current widget. Actually, I'm going to make a function for this. End dialogue, we'll call it. And this is going to do the widget. Remove from parent. And we'd then do other things like make the character move again and things like that. So we're going to get the player character. And we're going to do set movement mode. And we're going to set that to walking. The start dialogue, we're going to... Oh, I don't know. In the start dialogue here, we're going to get the player character. And we are going to stop the movement. And you can do that a few ways, but we're going to do it with the movement mode. It's just set the movement mode to none. It just stops their movement. Okay. So they can't move. They're going through the dialogue loop until it reaches the end of the dialogue, and they enter the dialogue, and then we can move again. So that's a very passive conversation. We're not actually pushing any buttons or interacting with anything, but we can test it out at least. So I'm going to go back to my NPC, and I'm going to add the dialogue system component to it. Dialogue component. And on the right hand side here, I should see dialogues. I can open this up, and I'm going to add my lines of dialogue. So here we go. We can just do hello there, and welcome to Ryan Laley Games. Add a new line. We host many videos and live streams. Please wishlist Mimic. Okay, So I've got 3 lines of dialogue there by default. And I can compile and save that. So the only thing I've got left to do is make this interact box work. So what I'm going to do is on my event graph, go to interaction box, add event, on component begin overlap. If the other actor here is equal to the player character, and put that into a branch. So if that's the case, if we are equal to the player character, that's when we want to listen for inputs. So I'm going to do enable input. And we're going to do get player character. No, yeah, controller, sorry. And then when we end the overlap, we want to disable the input. So do add event end overlap. Basically exactly the same, except for that last node. Other actor there, and disable input. Okay, so now I can put in the IA interact on here, and I can get the dialog component, not dialog component, get the event dispatcher and call it. We just call it once on started. There you go. Righto, so this guy should talk to us. Ah, I think he got moved because of the bar thing. Hang on. Let me change his collision. Not to have any collision on that. Hold on. Physics. Collision. No collision. That's not going to work because I'll... no. That would affect the whole actor, wouldn't it? Oh. God's sake. Hang on, let me just move him out of the box. Bit easier. There we go. Okay, let's just put that back on. No, not going to do it. Okay, let's work out why that's not doing that. So we want to check that this is happening. So let's just print string that. Couldn't you just pull the true false from the first set? And what are you referring to? Okay, so it's detecting that. But the... I did add the input to this, didn't I? Interact E. Yes. Enable input. Disable input. IA interact. Okay, let's add a breakpoint to that. Oh. Disable input. Could it be a if false disable? No. Because we want it only to disable when the player leaves the space, not anything else. So if something walks through him, we don't want it to turn off. We only want it to turn off when the player ends the area. But for some reason, it's not calling the enhanced input action. Does this not work with enhanced input action? I'm trying to think, have I actually tested this enable input working with this system? Because I think it'll work with the normal push E to interact thing. E key thing. Maybe that enable input doesn't work with enhanced input. No. Okay. Enable input. Let me just turn off the disable. I wonder if it's disabling as well at the same time. For some reason. No. What is happening? Player controller, player controller. Yeah. Why not work? Ooh. Is it because it's a character? That may be it. Ooh. This shit still work though. Why would that not work? I mean, I could do it the other way, but I don't want to go through the whole process of doing it. I wonder if it's because it's a character. Well, test that theory out. If I make another actor here, and yeah, sure, and just give this a collision cube. Oh, just quite easier. Like this. We'll make it so we can see it in game. In game, and we'll do act begin overlap. Get player controller. Enable input. Ooh, goes into that. And then I'll put IA interact. Print string. And yo. Whoa. There we go. That's it. Chuck that in here. Oh, where'd it go? Dialogue. What do I do with it? Third person. There. Yeah, it's good. It's a character. Damn it. Okay. Because the reason why I thought that was because characters obviously can be possessed, actors can't. So maybe it was expecting you to possess it rather than just enable its input on it. So I'm guessing enable input doesn't work on characters. So we'll rethink it. So I'm gonna do where's my player character? So I'm not going to do a full-fledged interaction system just for time reasons. So if I make on here, oh screw it, just do an interface. Amount of time I spend on this, I could just do it as an interface. Interact, interface, interact with. What is that? And I'll just do an overlap method. Active begin overlap. Other actor is we'll promote that to a variable. Current focus. And then when I push IA interact, we'll just take out current focus, get, validate get, and then interact with. And then on my NPC, I can go to class settings, add the interface. And then from that, I can get rid of this nonsense. I don't need this anymore. This anymore. This anymore. Or this. Interact with. And we're just going to call the on interact with. That will do. Right, this should now work. Yay, there you go. Right, so it went through really quick there on the dialogue, and that is because I've got it accidentally set up to the triggered. So let me go back through that. Onto the dialogue widget. Yeah, so here I've got it on triggered. Don't do that. Put it on started. Because trigger's going to fire like a tick like, a lot of the time. So we'll cut that out. So now I should be able to like hit the button accurately. So hello and welcome to Ryan Games. We host many videos and live streams. Oh, missed the last one. Interesting. Okay. But, okay, so we've got a couple of issues we need to fix there. So, yeah. Dialogue. Display dialogue. If the current widget, current line is set to 0, yep. 0, current widget, add to widget, next line. Right. That works. Okay, so next line happens. The current line is increased then to 1. Dialogues, conversations, line is valid index. It should be. Then display dialogue again. And that will go back through there. Getting the current line. Yep. Then find event next. Yeah. I didn't actually put the end dialogue in, did I? Whoops. False. There you go. Oh, there you go, David. Yeah, you just pointed out exactly thing I just thought of. What's the scene? Where the hell is it skipping the last one though? Here's valid index true. It should display the last one just fine. I'm actually going to change from started to completed. Okay, so let's just check that. Ah, it went through very quickly. I think I know what happened. Okay. I think the issue is on my player character. Oh no, I got them started as well. What? NPC, call interact with. Dialogue component. Got lines there. But I noticed if I held down the key, it went right through them. Why would it do that? Oh. I think I know. If I go to the player character again, I'm going to change that from started to completed. I'm going to try that out. That last line is not showing that last line and it's getting stuck. Why is it getting stuck? Right. When I hit next line, find when next line happens, that gets to here. Right, I'm going to add a breakpoint to this. So when it goes to 2, it should be valid. And it should display dialogue again. Get current line. Lines, current line. This current line must be increasing multiple times then. So I can think of. Current line is 0. One. Display dialogue. Remove from parent. Yep. Create widget. Dialogue line 2. Please wishlist mimic. But oh, now it's saying it. Eh? Oh, it's gone round again twice. Why has it done that? Okay, so the issue is it's going through the dialogue twice. Set text. Call on next. Interact. Oh. Oh. I think I know. So the reason why is I think my character when I've got interact here, it's activating here as well, and it's calling the exact same thing again. So it's getting called twice. I need to make sure that if I'm interacting with something, I don't keep interacting with that anything else until I finish interacting with it. That's what I want to do. Right, stop that. So once I interacted with that, we are then going to do okay, this will be interesting. We can go to interact with and do an output for lock interaction. Power that and save that. Go back to third person character and unlock interaction here. We can promote that to a variable. And put that into a branch. I guess I could disable input briefly on the player character. Would that work? Let me try and do that first. There might be a simpler way of doing it. No, it's just undo. There we go. Oh, what's it doing? No, I don't want to do an output node like that. Stupid thing. No, why is it doing that? Oh, wait, did I? Oh, I have to compile this one. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Get player character. And then disable input. Let's see if that works. That would be a simpler way of doing it. Get player controller. Oh. Fair enough. No, still doing it. Okay. Okay, we'll do once. And we'll make a custom event in here called finish interaction. Oh, that was a bad way of doing it, but never mind. Time wise, we're running out of time, so let's just crack on. Right, so if I go back to my dialogue component, and when I do end dialogue, I'm just going to call the characters class 2, third person character, hello, and call the end interaction. Or finish interaction, there you go. I should really make that part of the interface, but no, it'll do. Why is that doing that? I'm just going to do a print string here to work out how many times it says hello. So I feel like that's what's happening. It's making it do it twice. Hello. Oh, no. Why? This is me. This is because I wanted to do a shorter, simpler dialogue tree, and I made it actually worse. Yeah, must be something weird going on with the increment things. Oh. I think I know. So, yeah. Where are we going? Display dialogue. So it goes through here, binds event and on next. Next line happens, increments by 1, and then does display dialogue. I know exactly what's going on. Okay, the reason why this is not working is because when we are calling display dialogue, when you call a function, it has to execute and finish that function before it moves on, right? So if this function is going along here, it's going to hit this one, and it has to finish this first before this one's wrapped up. So that is going into here, causing this to happen. And it's doing another binding inside of that, and then it's going off to the next line again before it's actually even finished doing its job. So, way around that is, I'm going to convert that to a event. Because events don't run like that. Events run sequentially. So as it goes through, it hits display dialogue, and then it basically starts again. So doing that slight change should hopefully fix that. Damn you! I swear it's something like that though. Next line. Just okay. Next current line is +++. Display dialogue happens then. Current line. Get display. Go through. Bind event on next. Yeah. Oh. I think I know what's going on. I'm going to test my theory. I'll explain what's going on if this works. I'll explain what's going on. Yeah, it works. So, all right, here's what's actually happened, and this is why this bug is happening. So, the way widgets work is when you add them to a viewport, and create them, add them to memory, and add them to a viewport, they're there, right? But when you remove them from viewport, they're not actually deleted. They're just taken off the screen. So the old widget still exists in memory. That binding has still happened. Therefore, what I'm doing here is I'm saying collect all the garbage up. Now, what this does is called garbage collector. So in C++, in programming, we have something called a garbage collection when it goes through and cleans up any unused memory, and it can reuse it for something else. Otherwise, it just sits there waiting for it to be used. And because this is happening in quick succession, it's just catching that same memory bank again, and it's still going on. It still exists. So you've got two things you can do. One, you can collect garbage. Now the problem with that is it does collect all the garbage, which you may not want. You can do. It's not a big deal. It's, you don't want to do it all the time, but you can do that. The second thing we can do is actually make use of the unbind event. So this is being bound here. If I go to current widget here, I can do unbind all events from on next. If I'm do that first, and then move from parent, I'll now do the same thing, and hopefully, hey, it works. I can't move yet though, so that ain't worked entirely, but we're getting there. So we've got that, and then next line happens, and then on next line, is valid index should be false, and it should be called end dialogue. Remove from widget, get player character walking, finish interaction. So this should be happening. Add to breakpoint there. mean, it's removed it from the screen, so it should be. Yeah. Walking. Character. Yeah. So why can't I move? That's a weird one. Character movement, walking. Yeah. I still have disable input connected on the invented. Oh, do I? No, I don't. I don't think I have it on the. Oh, I do have it here. Thank you. My bad. Okay, yeah, we got that. Okay, I'm still with him. Okay. Oh. Okay. We need to re-enable input. So we go back to the. I'll go to finish interaction. Do it here. Enable input. Thank you, Hassan, for pointing that one out. Get player controller. Done. Okay. Yay. Right, so we can interact with things. Right. So when it does this, we need to reset the dialogue line so we can talk back to them. So dialogue component, when we end the dialogue, we're going to set the current line back down to 0. And I'll leave current conversation as 0 for now, but you could change the current conversation based upon different events happening in the game. But current line back down to 0, so you can repeat the same dialogue when you talk to them again and again and again and again. Although it's gone back. What's going on now? They're showing 2 now. Why is that? Current line 0. Yeah. Current line 0. Go through that again. Display dialogue. Current line 0. Add breakpoint. So that's definitely 0, right? Yeah, good. Right, we'll just put it on the other screen for a second to make this go a bit faster. Make that should be 1. Yeah. So these ones I think should work just fine. Yeah. See? But if I talk to him again, it's coming through as 1. 1. I changed it to 0. Unless the increment didn't finish in time. It should do. I'm going to print string the line there. Jason, maybe set to -1. You could do, but the problem is if you set to -1, you're basically fixing something with like duct tape. You're not actually solving the problem. And if you can find out why it's doing it, that's a lot much more beneficial to you. So if I'm going to set this to a print string, I'm then going to go to turn that off. So 0, 1, 2. Okay. 0, 1, 2. Why is it saying 0 though? Right, that's saying 0, but it's displaying 1. And I put the print string. I put the print string on next line. Oh, I know. Same problem as we had before. I'm not learning from my mistakes. Silly, silly, silly me. On end dialogue, make sure you are not just removing from widget, but we are unbinding the events from next. Because it still exists in memory. That's why it's doing it. Yay! I was right. So, there we go. We can now loop through. God blimey. Got there. Okay, so we're going to talk to them and they're going to heal all our Pokemon up. So this particular NPC is in charge of healing things. So I want to know when this NPC has finished chatting to me, it's going to trigger an event. So I need to keep track of when this dialogue event has finished their activation, okay? So what I'm actually going to do is do an event dispatcher on here and do dialogue on dialogue event, we'll call it on dialogue event. And I'm going to make it so that when we end the dialogue, we are going to drag out our call. God blimey, I'm messing this up. Yeah, David, like I normally would, but I wanted to save time, and then before doing all that. Christ, okay. We can do it on here. It's just not the way I want to do it. I'll probably have to read. I mean, you can see how to do dialogue systems. I've got that all over my channel, but we'll be doing another dialogue system series soon. I'll just call dialogue event on the end. Yeah, that'd be fine. And then on the NPC, depending on which NPC it is, I can then make it do stuff. So I'll go to the dialogue component, and on the right hand side, I can see on dialogue event, hit the button there. There's the event. And then I can do what I need to do. Get player character. Get component by class. Pokédex. And what I'm going to do is I'm making a heal all Pokemon event on my Pokédex component. So, where are we? Where are we? Monsters? Oh, stupid me, it's there. Crying out loud. Functions. Heal party. Okay. And the heal party is going to take the party integers and do a for each loop. If you want to know how we're tracking party in Pokemon and all that stuff, go back and watch the early episodes of this live stream and you can see how the thinking behind it was. But we go through the Pokemon and we get each one like this. And from here, we're going to set members in. This allows you to change aspects of the struct. So I'm going to set members in. I want to get a reference. Sorry, not a copy. Get a reference. There we go. In there. And we're going to change the HP. And we're going to get the max HP from here. Oh, wait, we can't. Break. Max HP. And put that in there. And that should change and update all our Pokemon. Okay. So get by copy and by reference. I should explain how that works. So by copy, if I do get. Okay, this is get by copy. What this does, it takes the integer, gets the thing, but makes a copy of it. It's not actually the actual data inside of the array. It's a copy of the data. And you can indicate that by the circle pins. Circle pins are copies of data. So you're using copies all the time. This is why when you want to change an integer or float, you're getting the value, changing the value, and then setting it back to the value. It's good as it's a copy. But when you change it to a reference, it turns into a diamond shape. And a reference is an actual pointer to the actual data inside of the array in this case. And therefore, when I change values inside of it, it will update and change it on the original. So I don't have to keep dragging it back into it and working on things like that. So, yeah. And you can do this with any other function itself as well. So when you... so when you make inputs, you can do pass by reference and pass that through there too. Yeah. So, our NPC here, we're going to take this and then do heal party. And not going to worry about like sound effects and animations and things like that because there's no point. So we're out of time. But that would go through and heal our Pokemon in our party. Now, dialogue system wise, I wouldn't follow this for your own dialogue system in your own games. If you're doing a very simple one, this will work just fine. But if you're doing a more complex dialogue system for a more complex RPG, don't follow this one because there can be a lot more tangible things you do. The big different takeaways I would be doing would be using data assets and different types of data assets and also children data assets. So we can insert lines and questions and things like that into the conversation. I'll do a series on that in due time. Probably won't be until the end of until the beginning of New Year now, but that will be something that we'll work on and revisit. Like how we revisited other series, we'll be revisiting that one too. But for us, as a simple thing, this will do. So this brings us to the end of our Pokemon series. So let's take a look at what we've got going on inside of our Pokemon game. Let me go back to our map. Do I do it on this one? Yeah. So this is what we worked on throughout the year during these live streams. So it's about, well, 9 hours work, maybe a bit more than that. Between 10 and 12 hours, I'd reckon it is. But we've got Pokemon. We've got Pokemon Wandering in Wild over there, and we've got another one over there. And I interact with them, bump into them, and start a battle. And we've got some attack moves and do the attacks. Yeah, and I can run away from battles. I can knock them out or attack them enough to capture them. You see the health bars going down. Items, Pokeball, throw a Pokeball out. Captured. Done. No, you escaped. Let's try that again. Pokeball. Damn, it escaped for that one as well. Oh my god, it keeps busting out. This is very bad luck. Grapike has reached level 2. Okay. Yeah, and then we got party screen. We got that working in there. He died. We did a fainting system in there. But then we would go into our Pokemon Center over here, and we can come out, and it'll take us to different Pokemon Centers. We made it so we can travel to different Pokemon Centers to get different layers, because we don't with data layers. So if you want to see how we did that, go back and watch those live streams. You can pick up little tips and tricks with that stuff. But this has been our retro remake of 2023. This is the final episode of this series. We are now... Oh, that was weird. We are now taking suggestions for what you want to see in 2024. So what do you guys want to see as a game we tackle for 2024 as a retro remake? As long as it's like 20 years oldish, you know, even if it's a 2D game, we'll remake it in 3D. Just because 2D games are annoying to make. Or unless you really want to know that, but I'm happy to keep it as that. But yeah, let me know in chat right now what you want to do, and we can go through it. Now, there are some stipulations, obviously. This is something that we want to show off, like the core mechanics and core gameplay of within 9 to 10 hours of live in live streams over the course of the year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to interesting. Look, some of the key ones we've seen from people is that have interested me are things like SimCity, Metroid, and like Castlevania type games. Twisted Metal, I've seen people suggesting as well. God Sim games like Populous. You know, those sort of things, which are really cool because they're different types of genres that I haven't really tackled before. So if you've got any ideas for like different types of games that would be interesting, we'll put them in there. And basically, they'll be put to a vote for the Patreon members. So the Patreon members will get to vote on next year's retro remake. So if you're a Patreon member, look forward to that in December. You'll get that poll coming through. But I'm always intrigued in trying to tackle new genres that I haven't done before. Okay, like I haven't done a Pokemon game before, and that was something that was quite fun to try and figure out to do. And the reason why I like doing that is because I want you guys to see me figuring it out live in front of you. Like, just like, what do I do? How do I solve this problem without following a tutorial? How the hell do you do that? And so I want you to see that process in action. So yeah, Remaking Dungeon Defenders 1. Release date was 2010. It's a bit recent. It may be something like a point-and-click adventure, like Day of the Technical Indie. A point-and-click adventure might be interesting. That could be quite cool. Yeah, I quite like the idea of that. But I say it'll be up to the patrons to decide. But I'm taking suggestions for what to put down as the 4 options for patrons to pick from. Seeing any other questions. I'm glad you enjoyed the series, Kiwi. Oh, that's weird. We're back again live on Wednesday for Q&A. Hopefully, this time for real. Next weekend is going to be another design session. So we're going to go through and talk about level design, and in particularly, well, you'll see. We're going to talk a bit more about level design there, and the week after that will be a Let's Create, and then we're going to finish off the year with Mimic. And as always, as is tradition, we're going to end the year with one of our Christmas quizzes where we give out cash prizes to those who watch the show live. So the full schedule of that will be announced soon, and you can see it all on the channel, and it'll be able to notify you when they are coming live. So look out for those. Good fun. As for what's going forward into 2024, there's lots of really cool things on the plate, and I really can't wait to share with you what we're doing. But it's we're taking a big initiative going forward in not just content for the channel, but trying to help people get into industry. So trying to make connections for people like that. So more details on that in the early months of 2024. But super excited to see where that goes. As always, you can join us to be a Patreon member to support the channel from just $1 a month. Get access to all our videos early and live streams, as well as take part in our Creator Challenge, which is a monthly game jam, for a very simple jam where you can submit your actual project, and I'll go through your code and review your code and give you some feedback and support on why you should be improving and what you should be doing next. So take part in it. Yeah, if you're a Patreon member, it's open to all patrons. So yeah, sign up for it. Yeah. This month's an interesting one. I can't wait to see what people do for next month's one, December. It's going to be quite fun. But yeah. Anyway, that'll do for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for catching us live. We didn't do that too quickly. and for those who've watched the series the whole year round, hopefully you've enjoyed and learned at least something from the Pokemon series. Yeah, it's always good fun to do these things live. And just show you what it's like to be a raw developer just working on stuff and figuring stuff out. So take care, everyone, and look after yourselves, and I'll see you on Wednesday for question time. So bring your questions, and we'll answer them live. Take care, everyone. Good night.